In the brutal, high-stakes world of commercial aviation, fortunes can turn on a single contract. For years, one of the giants of aero engineering, Rolls-Royce, was on the back foot, reeling from a crisis that cost billions and shattered its reputation for flawless reliability. Its flagship engine for the revolutionary Boeing 787 Dreamliner, the Trent 1000, was failing in the field. Planes were grounded, airlines were furious, and its arch-rival, General Electric, was scooping up sales. Customers, once loyal, began to walk away. The game, it seemed, was lost. But on April 29, 2026, a small announcement sent quiet shockwaves through the industry. LATAM Airlines, a major South American carrier that had been burned by the engine issues and even started shifting parts of its fleet toward GE, did something unexpected. It came back. For 3 of its newest Boeing 787s, LATAM chose Rolls-Royce. This isn't just another order. This is a signal, a symbol of one of the most remarkable corporate comebacks in modern industrial history. It reveals a quiet, multi-billion-dollar strategy that Rolls-Royce has been executing in the shadows. A plan not just to fix a broken engine, but to methodically reassert its dominance in the most profitable corner of the entire aviation market. How did Rolls-Royce go from a public relations nightmare to winning back the customers it lost? And how is this single deal a clue to the way Britain, through its engineering champion, is quietly positioning itself to control the future of long-haul flight for decades to come? The answer is a story of crisis, cutting-edge engineering, and a ruthless business model that locks in revenue for a generation. To understand the significance of LATAM's return, you have to understand just how dire things were for Rolls-Royce. The story starts with the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, a machine that changed aviation forever. Built from lightweight carbon composites and designed for unparalleled fuel efficiency, it promised to open up new long-haul routes. Key to this promise were its radical new engines. Airlines had a choice: the GE9X from American giant General Electric, or the Trent 1000 from Britain's Rolls-Royce. The Trent 1000 was a marvel of engineering, born from Rolls-Royce's unique 3-shaft architecture, a design hallmark that sets it apart. Early on, it was a success, winning a significant share of the initial Dreamliner orders. But then the problems began. By the mid-2010s, reports started filtering in. Engines weren't lasting as long as promised. The crucial metric isn't just fuel burn, it's time on wing, how long an engine can fly reliably before it needs a costly overhaul. For airlines, time on wing is everything. The Trent 1000's time on wing was falling drastically short. The culprits were components deep inside the engine's hot core. Specifically, turbine blades in the intermediate pressure and high pressure sections were cracking and wearing out far faster than anticipated. These aren't simple metal fans, they are single crystal superalloy sculptures, each one harnessing the power of a Formula One car, yet weighing little more than a laptop. Their failure was a catastrophic problem. The crisis peaked with the Package C variant of the engine, becoming a full-blown financial and reputational disaster. Airlines like All Nippon Airways, Air New Zealand, and British Airways were forced to ground their Dreamliners. The term aircraft on ground became a recurring nightmare for both the airlines and for Rolls-Royce's headquarters in Derby. At one point, regulators had to step in, placing strict operational restrictions on parts of the Trent-powered 787 fleet. This effectively hobbled the Dreamliner's primary mission, flying long-haul routes over vast stretches of ocean. Airlines were forced into costly workarounds, even leasing other aircraft just to keep their networks running. The financial fallout was staggering. Rolls-Royce booked over £2 billion in charges to fix the problem, but the damage to its market share was even worse. Trust had been broken. General Electric, with its reliable GE9X engine, capitalized on the chaos. GE's win rate on new 787 orders soared. Once loyal Rolls-Royce customers began to defect, British Airways ordered GE engines for a new batch of 787s, a damning vote of no confidence. LATAM 2, an early Trent 1000 operator, diversified its fleet in 2023 by selecting the GE Gen X for a follow-on order of 787s. For a period, Rolls-Royce's position on one of the world's most important modern airliners looked precarious. Behind the scenes, a monumental effort was underway in Derby. Rolls-Royce marshaled its resources in a multi-billion-pound mission to not only fix the Trent 1000, but to make it the engine it was always meant to be. This wasn't just about replacing cracked blades, it was about fundamentally re-engineering the engine's core. The result of this colossal effort is the Trent 1000 XE, the engine that now powers LATAM's new jets. This upgraded engine incorporates a suite of sophisticated fixes aimed directly at the heart of the original problem: heat. The single most critical upgrade was a completely redesigned high-pressure turbine, or HPT, blade. The HPT is the most punishing environment in the engine, a vortex of incandescent gas heated to temperatures well beyond the melting point of its metal. The only thing preventing the blades from turning into slag is a complex internal cooling system. The original blades were failing because this cooling was insufficient. The new blade, developed under a massive $1 billion durability improvement program, is a masterpiece of materials science. Rolls-Royce engineers managed to dramatically increase the cooling airflow to this critical part, significantly extending its life. But where did the confidence in this new design come from? The design was heavily based on advanced technology already flying on another engine, the Trent 7000. By the time the upgraded blade was certified for the Trent 1000, its design philosophy had been battle-tested for millions of flying hours in the real world on the Trent 7000, where it was demonstrating a major improvement, in some cases tripling time on wing. This gave Rolls-Royce a huge bank of real-world data and the confidence that the fix was robust. This enhancement program was rolled out in phases. A second phase, expected to enter service in early 2026, introduces further improvements like advanced coatings and a redesigned interface between the combustor and the turbine, drawing on lessons from the ultra-reliable Trent XWB engine that powers the Airbus A350. The goal was ambitious, to more than double the time on wing compared to the problematic earlier versions. Engineering a fix was only half the battle. The company also had to tackle the logistical nightmare of a global fleet in need of repair. In response, Rolls-Royce poured hundreds of millions into its maintenance, repair, and overhaul, or MRO network. It aggressively expanded capacity at its key facilities and established a new joint venture with Air China in Beijing. This new facility, Basel, is set to handle up to 250 engine overhauls a year by the mid-2030s, significantly boosting the global repair velocity. Slowly but surely, the strategy began to work. The number of grounded aircraft fell. The engineering was sound. The MRO network was catching up. The bleeding had been stopped. But to truly stage a comeback, Rolls-Royce needed to prove its entire business philosophy was superior. The LATAM deal is not just a vote of confidence in a redesigned turbine blade. It's a testament to the immense pull of Rolls-Royce's core business model, Power by the Hour. Pioneered by Rolls-Royce, this model, now trademarked as Total Care, is deceptively brilliant. Instead of selling a jet engine and then charging for repairs, Rolls-Royce sells performance. The airline pays a flat rate for every single hour that engine is flying. Think of it as a subscription service for thrust. Rolls-Royce retains ownership of the engine and takes on the entire risk of maintenance and repairs. If an engine fails, it's Rolls-Royce's problem and its cost to fix it. This perfectly aligns the incentives of the manufacturer and the airline. Both want the same thing: to keep that engine on the wing, generating revenue for as long as possible. For airlines, it turns a massive, unpredictable capital cost into a stable, predictable operating cost. For Rolls-Royce, the model is even more powerful. While the initial engine sale might be thin on profit, the total care contract locks in a lucrative stream of service revenue for the entire 25-plus-year lifespan of the aircraft. This aftermarket support is where the real long-term profit is made. The Trent 1000 crisis was so devastating because it struck at the heart of this model. When engines failed to deliver the promised time on wing, Rolls-Royce was suddenly on the hook for billions in unforeseen costs. But as the engineering fixes took hold, the power of this model began to reassert itself. This is the quiet strategy behind the comeback. Rolls-Royce's approach isn't about winning every single engine competition. It's about securing and expanding its installed base of engines covered by these long-term service agreements. This is Britain's quiet takeover, not of the whole industry, but of its most profitable segment. While others dominate the high-volume narrow-body market, the Airbus A320 and Boeing 737, Rolls-Royce has deliberately focused on the high-value world of wide-body, long-haul aircraft. It is the sole source engine provider for the Airbus A350 and A330neo, giving it a powerful position on two of the world's most modern wide-bodies. The Boeing 787 remains the key battleground where it faces GE. This is why winning back LATAM is so symbolically important. LATAM experienced the worst of the Trent 1000's failures and made the strategic decision to bring in GE. Their return to Rolls-Royce for these new aircraft signifies that the calculus has changed. They have assessed the new, improved Trent 1000, looked at the strengthened MRO network, and weighed the commercial terms. And they chose to come back. In the words of LATAM's CEO, Roberto Alvo, the deal reflects the long-standing relationship we have built with Rolls-Royce over time, alongside the evolution of the Trent 1000 engine. This is the quiet strategy at work. The relationship, anchored by the all-encompassing total care service, creates a powerful incentive to stay within the ecosystem once the technical issues are resolved. The comeback on the 787 is a story of recovery, but Rolls-Royce is already fighting the next war. The engineering prowess that fixed the Trent 1000 is now being channeled into a machine that could secure the company's dominance for the next half-century: the UltraFan. UltraFan isn't just an upgrade, it's a radical reimagining of the jet engine. For decades, Rolls-Royce's signature has been the three-spool engine, but UltraFan introduces a new geared turbofan architecture. A planetary power gearbox capable of handling immense power sits between the fan and the turbine. This gearbox solves a fundamental compromise. The big fan at the front wants to spin slowly, but the turbines in the hot core need to spin incredibly fast. The gearbox breaks that link, allowing each part to run at its optimal speed. The result is a huge leap in efficiency. The fan itself is enormous, with a diameter of 140 inches, so wide you could drive a London tube train through it. It's made of lightweight carbon fiber composite blades, and the engine's bypass ratio is expected to be around 15:1, a huge jump from the Trent 1000's 10:1. All this tech translates into a promised fuel burn reduction of up to 25% compared to the first generation of Trent engines. In an industry where a 1% improvement is a major breakthrough, that's revolutionary. Rolls-Royce has already built and successfully tested the full-scale UltraFan demonstrator, running it at full power on 100% sustainable aviation fuel in 2023. After a detailed inspection, a second phase of ground tests is planned for later in 2026. What makes UltraFan a true strategic weapon is its scalability. The architecture can be scaled up or down to provide anywhere from 25,000 to over 100,000 pounds of thrust. This means the same core technology could power the next generation of giant wide-body jets, but it could also be scaled down for a different market. For over a decade, Rolls-Royce has been absent from the lucrative narrow-body market. The company has now made it clear it sees an opportunity to return, potentially with a partner, developing smaller ultrafan concepts for the next generation of single-aisle jets. This is the long-term vision. The fix for the Trent 1000 was about securing the present. The ultrafan is about conquering the future. It gives Rolls-Royce a credible, technologically mature pathway for whatever comes next. From the brink of a reputational and financial abyss, Rolls-Royce has staged a comeback that will be studied for years. The crisis of the Trent 1000 was a crucible that forced the British engineering giant to confront its weaknesses, double down on its strengths, and re-emerge as a more resilient and formidable competitor. The LATAM order is far more than a small 3-aircraft deal. It's a powerful symbol. It proves that the immense, multi-billion-pound investment in fixing the Trent 1000 has paid off. It shows that customer trust, once shattered, can be rebuilt through relentless engineering and unwavering support. And most importantly, it validates Rolls-Royce's core strategy to dominate the most valuable sector of commercial aviation through cutting-edge technology and the inescapable gravity of its total care service model. This is a story of a quiet, strategic reconsolidation of power. By focusing on the high-margin wide-body market and locking customers into decades-long service relationships, Rolls-Royce has carved out an incredibly powerful and profitable empire. The Trent 1000's recovery secures its place on the 787, the Ultrafan paves the way for the next generation, and the power-by-the-hour model continues to drive its business forward. The engine war is far from over. But with this comeback, Rolls-Royce has proven that it is not only a survivor, but a cunning and powerful player with a clear strategy for the future. But what do you think? Is the LATAM deal a true turning point in the engine wars? Can Rolls-Royce leverage the improved Trent 1000 to claw back significant market share on the 787 from GE? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.